There's a silent ecosystem inside your body that's influencing how fast you age. Not just your digestion, but your energy levels, inflammation, even your ability to think clearly and stay emotionally stable. And it's not your genetics, it's not your workout routine, it's not even how much protein or antioxidants you eat. It's your bacteria. We now know, thanks to advanced microbiome mapping and neuroimmunology, that certain species of gut bacteria are directly tied to the biological rate of aging. That includes how quickly your cells regenerate, how much energy your mitochondria produce, and how inflamed or resilient your body stays over time. One of the most shocking findings comes from a 2021 study published in Nature Metabolism, which tracked people across decades and discovered that the most long-lived individuals didn't just eat better or sleep longer, they had more diverse and metabolically active gut bacteria, especially those that produced short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, which act as powerful anti-inflammatory agents in the brain and body. So let me ask you this. When was the last time you thought about feeding your bacteria instead of yourself? Because here's what the research shows. If you're over 40, your microbiome diversity is likely shrinking. That shrinkage means less protection against the oxidative stress and mitochondrial decline that naturally increase with age. In plain terms, less microbiome support equals faster aging. But here's the good news. Unlike your DNA, your gut bacteria are changeable, trainable, even reprogrammable, often in a matter of days. Which brings us to the real story behind energy and longevity. It's not just about calories, movement, or discipline. It's about what kind of bacteria you're hosting and what kind of messages they're sending to your brain, your immune system, and your mitochondria. In today's episode, we're going to explore the truth about anti-aging bacteria. And I mean real, science-backed insights, not wellness hype. You'll learn which microbial species are associated with longer lifespan and youthful metabolism and how to support them, how gut bacteria influence your mitochondria, the engines of your cells, to either amplify or drain your daily energy, the surprising link between microbiome health and emotional resilience, including anxiety, focus, and even motivation. How antibiotics, artificial sweeteners, and stress sabotage your microbiome's anti-aging potential. And what to do about it. The best foods, timing strategies, and supplements to foster a younger gut, including prebiotics, polyphenols, and postbiotics. On a daily protocol grounded in neuroscience and behavioral science, to help you shift your internal ecosystem in just 7 days. This isn't just about aging slower. It's about living better, more clarity, more energy, more adaptability, because your bacteria aren't just passengers in your body. They're chemical communicators that influence how you feel, think, move, and heal. So if you've ever felt like your energy is slipping, your mood is dulling, or your body isn't bouncing back like it used to, this might be the most important system you're not optimizing yet. Watch this research-based video until end, and you will learn how to control aging physically and mentally. More importantly, in this video, I will ask some questions about your daily habits, health, conditions, and routine. These questions are also part of a research, and I will be grateful if you help me with my research. Thank you for that. So let's begin. Let's change that, starting now. If I asked you to name the organ most responsible for your lifespan, you'd probably think of your heart, maybe your brain. But today, scientists are increasingly pointing to something far less obvious and far more dynamic. We're not just talking about digestion. We're talking about a microbial ecosystem that controls inflammation, immunity, metabolism, even gene expression, and ultimately, how quickly or slowly you age. Let's start with one of the most striking studies in the field. A 2021 paper published in Nature Metabolism examined over 9,000 samples from people ranging in age from 18 to over 100. The researchers discovered something profound. Those who lived into their 90s and beyond showed a distinctive microbial pattern. Their gut bacteria didn't decline with age. In fact, they continued to evolve. In contrast, people with stagnant or shrinking microbial diversity showed faster biological aging, higher inflammation, and greater risk of chronic disease. The implication? It's not just your lifestyle or your genes that matter, it's the adaptability of your microbes over time. So which bacteria are actually doing the heavy lifting? Here's what the research shows. One key player is Akkermansia muciniphila, a bacterium that helps maintain the gut lining and reduce low-grade inflammation, a major driver of aging. Studies have linked higher levels of Akkermansia with better insulin sensitivity, reduced body fat, and improved metabolic health. Another is Faecalibacterium prausnitzii, a powerful anti-inflammatory microbe that produces butyrate, a short-chain fatty acid, SCFA, known to support colon health, reduce oxidative stress, and even modulate immune function. In fact, people with higher levels of butyrate-producing bacteria tend to have younger biological ages, regardless of their chronological age. So what's happening in your body when these microbes thrive? They produce metabolites that communicate with your mitochondria, the energy factories in your cells. They signal immune cells to lower inflammatory cytokines. They even influence epigenetic switches, determining which genes are activated or silenced. In other words, your bacteria are biochemical messengers. And when you feed the right ones, they slow the aging process from the inside out. Here's the exciting part. You don't need exotic supplements or extreme diets to make this shift. What these microbes crave is actually pretty simple. Diverse fibers, polyphenols, and fermented foods. Start with this protocol. Add one new plant each day. Research from the American Gut Project shows that people who eat more than 30 different plant types per week have significantly more microbial diversity than those who eat fewer than 10. That includes herbs, spices, seeds, and even teas. Feed your butyrate producers. Incorporate resistant starches like cooked and cooled potatoes, green bananas, oats, which help nourish butyrate-producing bacteria like F. prausnitzii. Support Akkermansia naturally. This microbe thrives when you fast for 12 to 16 hours overnight, and include polyphenol-rich foods like pomegranate, cranberry, and cocoa. Embrace fermented foods. A Stanford University study in 2021 showed that people who ate fermented foods daily for 10 weeks increased their microbiome diversity and reduced markers of inflammation across the board. What's amazing is that these shifts can happen quickly. Some studies show measurable changes in microbiome composition in as little as 48 to 72 hours after changing your diet. But here's something deeper to reflect on. Your microbiome isn't just about adding years to your life, it's about adding vitality to those years. When your gut is healthy, you recover faster, think more clearly, sleep more deeply, and feel more emotionally balanced. Your biology becomes more adaptable, and your day-to-day energy becomes less of a struggle. So let me ask you directly, what's your biggest struggle with sleep, fitness, and aging? Drop it in the comments, because this channel is here to help you turn those struggles into science-backed strategies. As we continue, we'll look at how these bacteria talk to your mitochondria and how that relationship can literally shift your cellular energy production. No caffeine required. And if this part was eye-opening, the next one is going to connect dots you've never seen before between your microbiome and your mitochondria, the engines of youth inside your cells. You've likely heard the phrase, you are what you eat, but what if I told you on a deeper biological level, you are what your microbes convert your food into? That's not just poetic, it's molecularly true. Right now, inside your cells are tiny structures called mitochondria, often described as the power plants of your body. They generate ATP, the chemical energy your body uses to walk, think, breathe, and repair itself. But here's the part most people don't realize. Your mitochondria don't operate in isolation. They are deeply influenced and in many ways regulated by the trillions of microbes living in your gut. In fact, these two systems, microbes and mitochondria, are in constant biochondrial dialogue. And understanding that conversation may be the key to unlocking more energy, less fatigue, and longer cellular life. Let's unpack the science. A landmark 2020 review in Nature Reviews Endocrinology showed that microbial metabolites, especially short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, acetate, and propionate, play a direct role in mitochondrial health. How? These SCFAs improve mitochondrial biogenesis, your cell's ability to create more energy factories, reduce oxidative stress, which slows cellular aging, enhance fatty acid oxidation, so your body becomes more efficient at burning fat for energy. Translation: a well-fed microbiome makes your mitochondria stronger and smarter, and the result is more clean, sustained energy, without the crash and burn cycle of stimulants or sugar. Think about it this way. Your mitochondria are like tiny engines, but your gut microbes, they're the engineers tuning those engines, adjusting fuel efficiency, reducing toxic byproducts, and determining how well your vehicle performs as it ages. And when things go wrong, that's when the energy problems start. A disrupted microbiome from antibiotics, processed food, chronic stress produces fewer SCFAs and more endotoxins like lipopolysaccharide, LPS. These inflammatory compounds damage mitochondrial function, slow down SCFP production, and trigger systemic fatigue. This is one of the hidden reasons why so many people feel tired for no reason. The body isn't just lacking sleep, it's lacking cellular communication between gut and energy system. Now, here's the empowering part. You can influence this conversation daily through small science-based habits. A simple tool to apply is this. Start your morning with polyphenols plus prebiotics, a glass of warm green tea, rich in EGCG, and a small bowl of oats with ground flax and berries. This combination feeds the microbes that produce SCFAs and also supports mitochondrial antioxidant systems. Time your fasts to support mitochondrial turnover. Fasting for 12 to 16 hours a few days per week activates mitophagy, your cell's process for clearing out damaged mitochondria. It also promotes the growth of beneficial bacteria like Akkermansia, which thrive during fasted states and enhance mitochondrial signaling. Breathe for your bugs and your cells. Stress hormones like cortisol disrupt the microbiome and impair mitochondrial efficiency. A tool I often recommend is physiological sighing, a double inhale through the nose followed by a slow exhale through the mouth. Just 1 to 2 minutes can lower stress and improve oxygen delivery to both microbes and mitochondria. Have you ever noticed how you can eat perfectly, sleep decently, but still feel sluggish? That's often not about willpower. It's about biochemistry. If your microbes aren't sending the right signals, your mitochondria won't perform optimally, no matter how much coffee you drink. And here's a fascinating twist. Your microbiome doesn't just support energy perception, it also shapes your energy perception. In other words, how tired or vibrant you feel is influenced by microbial signals that interact with brain regions like the insula and anterior cingulate cortex, which monitor bodily energy states. So if you've been blaming yourself for low motivation or brain fog, pause. There's a physiological reason behind it, and it can be rewired from the gut out. If this insight is helping you, consider subscribing. We're just getting started on how to rebuild energy from the inside out using real science. As we continue, we'll dive into the gut-brain loop, how certain bacteria produce dopamine, serotonin, and GABA, and what that means for your focus, mood, and ability to stay resilient as you age. If you've ever had a gut feeling, you already know there's a deep connection between your brain and your digestive system. But this isn't just metaphorical, it's biochemical, it's electrical, it's hormonal, and it may be the missing link in how we approach aging, cognition, and emotional health. The gut-brain axis is a two-way communication highway, a direct connection between your enteric nervous system, sometimes called the second brain, and your central nervous system. Well, what's driving that highway traffic? Surprisingly, much of it is being directed by the trillions of bacteria in your gut. And their influence goes far beyond digestion. Certain species of bacteria actually produce key neurotransmitters, chemical messengers that regulate how you think, feel, and recover. Let's break down a few of the big players. Serotonin, often called the happiness or calm molecule, about 90 to 95% of your body's serotonin is produced in the gut, with microbes like Bifidobacterium infantis and Lactobacillus plantarum playing critical roles in its synthesis. GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid, this neurotransmitter helps regulate nervous system activity and reduce anxiety. Microbes like Lactobacillus rhamnosus have been shown in mouse studies to increase GABA receptor expression in the brain, leading to reduced stress behaviors. Dopamine, critical for motivation and focus. Dopamine is influenced by microbial activity and precursor availability in the gut. Tyrosine, an amino acid derived from protein, must be metabolized efficiently, and that process depends heavily on microbial enzymes. This means your ability to... A 2019 paper published in Frontiers in Psychiatry, researchers found that imbalances in gut bacteria, known as dysbiosis, were linked with increased risk for depression, anxiety, and even neurodegenerative conditions like Alzheimer's. Why? Because an imbalanced microbiome creates low-grade inflammation that seeps into the bloodstream and crosses into the brain. This neuroinflammation disrupts communication between neurons, impairs plasticity, and accelerates cognitive decline. So if you've noticed more brain fog, memory glitches, or emotional volatility as you age, it's not just aging. It could be gut-driven inflammation interfering with brain signaling. The good news is the brain-gut loop is modifiable. And here's a practical way to engage it. A simple tool to apply is this. Eat the 4 M's for microbe-mind harmony each day. Include mucilaginous fibers like chia seeds or cooked oats to support gut, microbe-accessible polyphenols like cacao, blueberries, or rosemary. Minerals, especially magnesium and zinc, which stabilize mood and support microbial enzyme systems. Movement, even light walking, increases microbial diversity and brain devitant neurotrophic factor, BDNF, which supports learning and memory. Try a gut-brain probiotic stack. Look for supplements or fermented foods with strains like Lactobacillus helveticus and Bifidobacterium longum. In a clinical trial published in British Journal of Nutrition, this combo reduced cortisol levels and improved stress resilience in just 30 days. Build a bedtime buffer. Your microbes have a circadian rhythm too. Eating late at night or scrolling before bed disrupts melatonin production, not just in the brain, but also in the gut. Create a 90-minute tech-free wind down, sip on a calming tea, chamomile plus lemon balm, and give your microbes a rest so they can support your sleep hormones. Which brings us to an important question, one I'd love your thoughts on. What's your biggest sleep struggle? Waking up tired? Falling asleep? Let me know in the comments. Your experience can help guide future videos. Because when your gut and brain are in sync, something powerful happens. You don't just sleep better, you wake up with clarity. You move through your day with steadier energy, better memory, and greater emotional control. And as we age, that matters more than ever. Because neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire and regenerate, doesn't disappear with age. But it does depend on input. And your gut is one of the most important sources of that input. If these science-backed tools are resonating with you, subscribe now. This channel exists to translate neuroscience into habits that elevate your energy, clarity, and longevity. Now, We'll uncover something surprising, how certain bacteria can help preserve muscle mass as you age, and the daily practices that support it. Let's talk about something that doesn't usually show up in conversations about probiotics or gut bacteria: muscle. You already know that muscle is crucial for strength, mobility, and metabolism. But here's what the latest research is uncovering. Your gut microbiome directly influences your ability to build, maintain, and even regenerate muscle tissue. And that changes everything about how we age. A groundbreaking study published in Nature 2019 showed that germ-free mice, those with no gut bacteria, had 40 to 60% less skeletal muscle mass compared to normal mice. Even more stunning, when specific beneficial bacteria were introduced, muscle mass and function began to restore. That means some microbes actually help regulate muscle growth signals. But how? It comes down to three core pathways: nutrient absorption, inflammation control, and mitochondrial energy. Number one, nutrient absorption and protein metabolism. To build muscle, you need amino acids. But digestion doesn't stop in your stomach. It's your gut bacteria that help break down dietary proteins into absorbable forms. For example, certain lactobacillus strains enhance the availability of branch-chain amino acids, like leucine, which directly stimulate muscle protein synthesis through the mTOR pathway. Without microbial support, you could eat a high-protein diet and still experience anabolic resistance, the inability to efficiently use protein for muscle repair, which becomes more common after age 60. So if your muscle is shrinking despite adequate protein, your gut may be missing key players. Number two, inflammation versus recovery. Chronic low-grade inflammation, often called inflammaging, is one of the main drivers of muscle breakdown in older adults, and your microbiome is the first line of defense. Beneficial bacteria like Faecalibacterium prausnitzi produce butyrate, a short-chain fatty acid that calms inflammation, protects muscle stem cells, and even supports mitochondrial repair. In one human study, Cell Reports 2021, higher levels of butyrate producing microbes were directly linked to greater muscle strength and better physical performance in seniors. If you've noticed longer recovery times, soreness, or general fatigue after simple activity, your microbiome might be underperforming. Number three, mitochondrial energy and mobility. The mitochondria in your muscle cells need a constant supply of key nutrients and cofactors to generate ATP, your body's energy currency. Gut bacteria help synthesize or regulate absorption of many of these, including B vitamins, especially B2, B6, B12, CoQ10, L-carnitine, and polyamines like spermidine, which support autophagy and cellular renewal. Here's what the research shows. A healthier, more diverse microbiome leads to stronger mitochondria, more energy production, and slower sarcopenia, the age loss of muscle. A simple tool to apply is this: start feeding the microbes that protect your muscle. Here's a daily protocol to support this gut-muscle connection. Prebiotic plus polyphenol stack morning, 1 tablespoon of ground flax or chia, half cup blueberries or pomegranate seeds, polyphenols, optional green tea or matcha for EGCG compounds, muscle-focused plantarum, and Bacillus coagulans. These are linked to better nutrient uptake and post-exercise recovery. Movement microbiome activation, 10 to 20 minutes of walking after a meal, increases butyrate levels and lowers blood sugar, protecting both your gut and your muscle. Fermented muscle boosters, 2 to 3 times per week. Include foods like kefir, miso, tempeh, or fermented beets. These not only feed your microbes, they carry additional enzymes that support recovery and endurance. Want to take this further? Try pairing your probiotic protocol with strength training. In one double-blind trial, participants who took Bacillus subtilis while following a simple resistance program gained more lean muscle and strength compared to the placebo group, even though both groups trained identically. This shows how microbiome optimization multiplies the effects of good habits. And before we move to the next insight, I'd love to hear from you. Which longevity supplement do you swear by? Drop your favorite below. Your experience might help someone else find their next best tool. And if this kind of evidence-based muscle protective strategy resonates with you, make sure to subscribe and tap the bell. We've got more tools like this coming that blend cutting-edge science with real-life results. As we continue, we'll dive into how your gut bacteria influence blood sugar and insulin, and why metabolic health is central to anti-aging. It's a game changer for energy, clarity, and long-term vitality. Let me ask you something. Have you ever followed a healthy diet, exercised consistently, even slept well, but still felt that your energy, weight, or focus just didn't improve? That mysterious plateau often has less to do with willpower and far more to do with your gut microbiome's role in metabolic flexibility. Now, here's the truth. Your gut bacteria shape your blood sugar, insulin sensitivity, and fat burning ability 24/7. And when this system is out of balance, aging accelerates on a cellular level. And that translates to steady energy, sharper focus, and a younger metabolic age. But when your gut is out of balance, often due to ultra-processed food, chronic stress, antibiotics, or poor sleep, the result is metabolic chaos. Insulin resistance, fat accumulation around organs, brain fog and post-meal crashes, accelerated aging of the skin, brain, and cardiovascular system. This is why many people gain weight, lose energy, or feel inflamed, even on what looks like a clean diet. A simple framework to reset the gut glucose axis. Here's a practical, science-backed daily sequence you can try. Especially if your energy or weight has plateaued. Morning glucomalatoria and plus pinch of sea salt. This supports gut motility and stomach acid production. Break your fast with resistant starch plus healthy fat, example, cooked and cooled oats or sweet potato, plus avocado or nut. Let's break it down. A shocking discovery from twins, a study from Nature Medicine in 2020, followed over 1,000 identical twins. Despite having the same DNA, twins with a more diverse gut microbiome had lower visceral fat, better blood sugar control, higher levels of anti-inflammatory markers, and even longer telomeres, those caps at the ends of your DNA strands that shrink with age. The takeaway? Even your genetic aging risk can be modified by your microbiome. That's powerful. What's happening in your body? When your gut is populated with the right bacterial strains, they help maintain glycemic control by breaking down complex carbs into short-chain fatty acids like butyrate and propionate, which reduce blood glucose spikes. Regulating hunger and fullness via hormones like GLP-1 and PYY, improving insulin sensitivity at the cellular level, especially in muscle and liver tissue. In other words, a healthy microbiome makes you more metabolically resilient. Resistant starch feeds Akkermansia and bifidobacteria, two microbial superstars for glucose control. Midday, carb timing and movement after a protein-rich meal, not alone, this buffers glucose response. Take a 10-minute walk after eating, shown in studies to reduce glucose by up to 30%. Evening, finish your last meal 2 to 3 hours before bed. Include gut-soothing herbs like ginger, cinnamon, or turmeric. These lower microbial inflammation and support overnight detoxification. Optional, sip on warm dandelion root tea or chamomile to support liver and microbial rhythm. Bonus, supplementing with inulin 2 to 3 gram daily or partially hydrolyzed guar gum can feed SCFA-producing bacteria that regulate glucose and fat storage. Now here's where it gets deeply empowering. Your gut doesn't just help you manage metabolism, it's shaping how young or old you feel every day. Your motivation, your stamina, even your circadian rhythm. Microbes and mitochondria talk to each other in a continuous loop. When your gut is inflamed, your cells become less efficient. They burn fuel poorly, produce less ATP, and generate more oxidative stress. But a resilient microbiome does the opposite. It upgrades your metabolism at the cellular level. It's how you reclaim energy, mental clarity, and metabolic youth without obsessing over diets. Now, I want to hear from you in the comments. What's one anti-aging habit you'll never give up? Whether it's a food, mindset, supplement, or daily walk, your wisdom might spark someone else's transformation. And if you've been getting value from these insights, consider subscribing to the channel. There's so much more coming on how to reverse aging from the inside out using science that actually works. Now we'll explore one of the most underappreciated drivers of youthful energy, your sleep microbiome loop. If you've ever wondered why you wake up tired even after 8 hours, this will be the breakthrough you've been missing. Here's something that might surprise you. The quality of your sleep tonight is heavily influenced by the state of your gut bacteria. Right now, that's not theory. It's emerging fact, and it matters deeply because poor sleep isn't just a nuisance. It's one of the fastest accelerators of biological aging we know. Short sleep shortens telomeres, increases inflammation, impairs insulin sensitivity, and disrupts the body's natural repair systems. But here's where it gets fascinating. The relationship between gut health and sleep is bidirectional. They reinforce or sabotage each other depending on the state of your microbiome. Let's break this down. The gut-sleep connection. Explain your microbiome helps regulate the production of neurotransmitters and hormones that control your sleep-wake cycles. That includes serotonin, 90% of which is made in the gut, a precursor to melatonin, GABA, a calming neurotransmitter that reduces anxiety and helps initiate sleep, tryptophan, an amino acid metabolized by gut bacteria to support deep sleep, melatonin, synthesized not just in your brain, but also in your gut lining. But it doesn't stop there. Studies show that individuals with higher microbial diversity tend to experience deeper, more restorative sleep, shorter sleep latency, how fast you fall asleep, fewer awakenings throughout the night. In one 2019 study published in PLOS One, individuals with more butyrate-producing bacteria like Faecalibacterium prausnitzii had significantly improved sleep efficiency and even reported better mood and energy the next day. Now think about that. Better gut bacteria, better sleep, better energy based on his choices, better aging outcomes. It's a virtuous cycle or a vicious one if ignored. Here's what the research shows. Sleep disruption ages your gut when your sleep is disrupted, even for a few nights. The balance of your microbiota shifts toward pro-functional pathogens. Gut permeability increases, also known as leaky gut. Cortisol rises, which impairs digestion and disrupts microbial rhythms. Your ability to produce melatonin and serotonin drops, worsening sleep the next night. This is why many people find themselves trapped in a loop. They're stressed, sleeping poorly, eating worse, gaining fat, and aging faster. But here's the good news. It can be reversed. And the shift often begins with one of the most powerful levers, evening gut rituals, a simple nighttime protocol to restore the gut sleep loop. Try this 4-step protocol for 7 nights and observe how your sleep and energy respond. Number 1, gut calming dinner. Aim for a light, easily digestible meal at least 2 to 3 hours before bed. Focus on tryptophan-rich foods like turkey, pumpkin seeds, or oats, plus gut-soothing herbs like basil or ginger. Avoid alcohol, high-sugar desserts, and ultra-processed snacks. They spike microbial inflammation. Number 2, prebiotic shot mix 1 TSP Imulin, or acacia fiber in warm water with a pinch of cinnamon. This gently feeds SCFA-producing bacteria overnight, supporting neurotransmitter synthesis. Number 3, circadian cueing dim lights 1 hour before bed. Darkness boosts melatonin and synchronizes your gut clock. Use blue blocking glasses or candlelight after 8 p.m. A warm shower or a foot bath can help cool the core, improving sleep onset. Number 4, optional supportive supplementation, a low-dose magnesium glycinate 200 to 300 milligrams, or a GABA plus L-theanine blend if your mind races at night. Here's the bigger point. Your gut is not just digesting food, it's organizing your sleep, mood, and energy. And as your microbiome heals, your nervous system calms, your hormones balance, and your cellular recovery deepens. That's what gives you the biological age of someone 10 to 15 years younger, not just in test results, but in how you feel when you wake up, move, think, and connect. Now, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Do you think biological age can be reversed? Comment yes or no. And more importantly, what's your biggest sleep struggle? Waking up tired? Falling asleep? Let me know. Your experience helps others realize they're not alone and their tools to get better. If this video has helped reframe how you think about energy and aging, consider subscribing. We're building a science-based community dedicated to longevity that feels good, not just looks good. Now we'll explore how to combine gut health with targeted movement to rejuvenate mitochondrial function. The tools are out there and your younger self is waiting. Let's zoom out for a moment. We began with a simple but profound idea. Your microbiome, the trillions of bacteria living inside your gut, may be the most underestimated key to lasting energy, mental sharpness, and slowing the clock on aging. Across this episode, we explored 6 powerful truths backed by cutting-edge science. Certain gut bacteria can produce vitamins, regulate inflammation, and generate short-chain fatty acids that directly protect your DNA. As we age, microbial diversity drops, but this process is not fixed. It's reversible with the right foods, prebiotics, and lifestyle inputs. Short-chain fatty acids like butyrate don't just support digestion, they activate anti-inflammatory pathways and enhance neuroplasticity. You can reshape your gut health in just 3 to 7 days with fiber, fermented foods, and intentional stress reduction. Your gut and sleep form a feedback loop. Fix one and the other improves. Ignore one and both suffer. Daily habits, even tiny ones like when you eat, how you chew, or what you think while eating, shape the biology of aging. But here's the deeper truth I want you to take with you. You are not just aging, you are adapting. And the gut is your interface between the outside world and your internal resilience. You may not control your genetics, but you do control your inputs, what you feed your body, how you regulate your nervous system, and what daily behaviors you commit to. The research is clear. People who age successfully, meaning they stay strong, clear-headed, emotionally balanced, and disease-resistant, aren't just lucky. They build micro routines that train their biology to regenerate. They protect their microbiome, and they engage in daily behaviors that signal youth, not decay. So I want to leave you with a challenge. Pick one gut-nourishing habit and commit to it for the next 7 days. Maybe it's eating one fermented food per day. Maybe it's reducing ultra-processed snacks. Maybe it's taking a slow 10-minute walk after dinner to help digestion and support microbial rhythm. Start small, but stay consistent. Because the fastest way to feel younger is not in a supplement, it's in your system, learning how to heal again. Now, let me hear from you. What's one anti-aging habit you'll never give up? Which longevity supplement do you swear by? Do you think biological age can be reversed? Comment yes or no. Your comment could inspire someone else to take the first step. If this video gave you a new insight or tool, please like, comment, and subscribe, not just for the algorithm, but because we're building a space where evidence meets action and science becomes strength. This isn't just about living longer, it's about living clearer, calmer, and more capable every day. So take a deep breath and remember, your gut is listening, your cells are listening, and your future self is waiting. See you in the next episode.